Holiday season, as millions of travelers pass through our airports, they may have noticed a change. Major portions of LaGuardia Airport have been rebuilt, and soon similar modernizations will come to JFK.
Lori Stokes sat down with the woman behind these architectural modernizations, McKissack. She's the president and CEO of the firm McKissack and McKissack, the oldest black-owned and female-run construction company in the United States.
I started this journey 30 years ago. And to think about the iconic projects that we've had the opportunity to work on, it's a blessing.
Cheryl McKissack and her team at McKissack and McKissack have been blessing New York City with much of the infrastructure New Yorkers use every day.
We are the independent engineer for the MTA, so we oversee their capital program. The first program that we oversaw was $32 billion. The one we're doing now is $54 billion. It includes East Side Access, 2nd Avenue Subway.
When we look at buildings in New York, we can point to which ones that McKissack and McKissack did.
If you want to talk about buildings, we can talk about Medgar Evers College. Medgar Evers built 2 brand new buildings, a social services building. We're currently building Coney Island Hospital. And Harlem Hospital is one of my favorites because we had to take murals off of the cinder block walls and restore them, and they hang in the entrance of Harlem Hospital right now. But then the architect came up with the bright idea to mimic those same murals on the outside of the glass of the hospital. So the hospital is beautiful.
McKissack and her team brought beauty to LaGuardia Airport, once maligned by President, then Vice President Joe Biden.
If I took you in blindfold and you took you to LaGuardia Airport in New York, you must think I must be in some third world country.
We've had the opportunity to participate on the central terminal at LaGuardia and continue to work with Delta, which is Terminal B and C, which is another, $4 or $5 billion undertaking.
It's a long way from McKissack and McKissack's origins. 5 generations of McKissacks ago, founded by a former slave.
How unheard of that is, even within a white generational family, let alone
Exactly.
a black generational family, that started with a man named Moses.
Moses McKissack I came to this country in 1790, and he was brought here by a slave master named William McKissack. That's why we have the McKissack name, like most slaves. He was taught the trade of making bricks, and eventually, at some point, he gained his freedom. And we know that because he gave 365,000 bricks to the Cheers family in Nashville, Tennessee, and they built their mansion. So what was he like? I often imagine that. I think about how do you overcome not just bigotry, but slavery.
Yeah. Do you ever think about if he's looking down at you at this point, what he would think?
I think about the fact that his DNA and his blood runs through me. And I believe that because I'm a product of my parents, they're a product of their parents, and so forth and so on. So I believe more than he's just looking down on me, I feel like he's in me, that I can stand on the accomplishments of my ancestors.
Cheryl took me on a tour of her great accomplishment, a reimagined LaGuardia Airport.
You must have a lot of pride. Really, how can you not?
It's very humbling to be a part of so many iconic projects in New York. Being part of the footprint of New York City as a black female-owned business is not only important for McKissack, but I think it's important for all of New York.
And how many international people are coming through these airports? What that means?
Well, it gives us a better face as a country, first of all. Joe Biden was not kidding when he said it looked third world, because it did. Mm-hmm. And now you look at it, it's Class A space. It's second to none. And that's what New York should be. We have the Central Terminal here. We have the Delta Terminal
Which
right
we're
next
still
door,
working on.
which we're still working on next door.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have JFK.
Plans for JFK Airport recently revived by Governor Kathy Hochul.
And it's going to completely transform and modernize this terminal. We're adding 150,000 new square feet. That's incredible.
We're currently program managers for Terminal 1 at JFK, which is a $6 billion project, probably the largest airport project taking place in the country.
And that was Lori Stokes reporting. Parts of the remodeled LaGuardia reopened earlier this year with more to come. The first phase of the remodeled JFK, which includes the new arrivals and departures hall, and the first set of new gates is expected to open in 2026. And McKissack's firm was also planning to work with a team of other Black-owned companies to build Affirmation Tower near the Javits Center. But plans were recently put on hold by Governor Hochul. McKissack and her team say they are optimistic to get it done working with the governor.
The new LaGuardia looks amazing.
Absolutely. We all owe them a debt of gratitude.
Yeah, we really